Hello, my name is Bailey Hillman. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the disciplines that you will find in a skilled nursing setting or in a nursing home setting. So many times family members get into a skilled nursing home where they admit their loved one into a facility, and then all of these people are calling and giving information and asking questions, and you're not really sure what their role is and what they do in the community. So I'm going to give you an overview of what all of these disciplines do and what information you should be receiving from them. It will be different depending on the company. So many companies will choose to, combine life enrichment or activities with social services. So you might find one person with multiple roles. So it's good to always ask the community or the facility, hey, what does your social worker do? What is their role? But I just want to give you a general overview so you know the questions to ask whenever you get calls from these individuals. So let's start with a nursing home administrator. So that is the role that I play in my community. I am a licensed nursing facility administrator. If you are in an assisted living, they usually are called executive directors, or they'll be called EDs. And so in skilled nursing or nursing facilities, they are called licensed nursing facility administrators. The difference is an ED can go to a certification course and get certified. In many states, they're not required to have a license. There are states that are starting to have license for EDs, but in nursing homes, you must have a license. So I am a licensed nursing facility administrator. My role is to oversee, or the administrator's role is to oversee the entire operations of the community. So they are in charge. So ultimately that is the boss. Okay, that's the top dog in the nursing home. You may have a corporate level, which has multiple layers to it. So if you're ever wanting to go over the administrator's head, you would want to see if there's a CEO or someone on a corporate level. Otherwise, the administrator is the person overseeing the entire operations. The administrator can have multiple different types of backgrounds. I myself am an occupational therapist. I do activities and consulting and regional support. So I have a wide variety of background. Others may be, someone who used to work in the oil field and decided they wanted to be an administrator. I've had an administrator who was a firefighter, an assistant fire chief, and decided that that wasn't for him and wanted to get into long-term care. He loved seniors, and so he got in and was an administrator. And so they could have multiple backgrounds. Many have healthcare backgrounds, but others, it is not a requirement to have. So that is your administrator. If you have a overarching concern with the entire community, or you cannot get things settled, that is the person that you will want to go and visit with. The next person down is typically your director of nursing. So this is the individual that oversees all of the clinical operations, all of the nursing clinical operations, your director of nursing. They are typically an RN. In skilled nursing or nursing homes, they have to have their RN license. And so you will see an RN, a registered nurse, in that position, and they will oversee all of nursing care. After the director of nursing, on the nursing side of the operations, you will have assistant directors of nursing at times, and they can either be RNs or LVNs, and they will be managing certain units. So let's say that you have a nursing concern. They might be one that you would start with your concern. Underneath your ADONs in the nursing side is your charge nurses. So the nurse that's actually working on the floor. They are in charge of the unit or the area that your loved one may be living. So it may be 30 beds, it may be larger or smaller. So it depends on the setting and the facility and their organizational chart. But your charge nurse is the one in charge of the floor. They manage all of your certified nursing assistants, CNAs, CMAs. There's many different initials for them depending on what state you're in. But any of your direct care aides, your charge nurse is going to be the one that is going to be managing them. So let's say you have a problem with a CNA. Okay, so something happened and you need to talk to someone in charge of the CNA. The first person you would want to give the opportunity to handle the situation is the charge nurse. So it's just like chain of command. It's good to start at the bottom and work your way up if needed. And so I would go to the charge nurse and express my concern. If I did not feel like my concern was taken care of, my next step would be the assistant director of nursing. If I continued to feel like it was not taken care of, the director of nursing, and then on up to the administrator if I continued to have issues. So that is really the nursing side of things. You can also have wings outside of nursing, such as a pharmacy nurse. You may have a wound care nurse. The admissions person may be a nurse. So nursing can do a wide variety of jobs. You have staffing coordinators who will get staff into the community and make sure that there's proper staffing numbers there to take care of your loved one. So nursing is a very large department in long-term care. So on the other side, so the administrator is over the director of nursing, and the director of nursing is typically over her nursing or his nursing team. And then you have your social worker. Your social worker is the individual who's kind of your support, okay, within the community. They're the ones that will give you resources and ensure that you have the items that you need. Many times they manage things like podiatry and vision. And again, it depends on the setting or the company and their job duties that they roll out to individuals. But typically your social worker is there to ensure that your residents or your loved one's mood is taken care of, that they're monitoring them for depression, and that they are seeing and they're advocate within the community. So you want to talk to your social worker if you have any grievances. Many times your social workers will take care of any grievances within the community as a partnership with the administrator. Your social worker also typically sets up your care conferences, so your care plan meetings that you would have quarterly. So you'll be hearing from that individual quite often. And so that is a person that you want to make sure you get to know and build a good relationship, a good working relationship with. And they have got usually tons of resources that you can utilize out in the community if you need support or if you need to get outside support for your loved one. There's also an individual that's called an activity director or a life enrichment coordinator. Those two terms are interchangeable. You could also have it as a rec therapist, an occupational therapy assistant in many cases will work as an activity director. The activity director's position is to ensure that your residents' quality of life and areas of wellness are being met. And so they're the fun in the building. I always try to encourage them that they're not just fun, they're the emotional support, right? So physical, emotional, intellectual, social, and spiritual needs are being met within the community. So let's say that your loved one wants to go out to church on the weekends. In this setting, you would contact the nurse, of course, to make sure they understood that you were going to come and get them. Then you might also talk to the activity director and say, hey, I would love to take my loved one out to church service. Is there a church service that you provide that maybe we could do here, or is it okay for me to continue to take them out? They will also hopefully reach out to you and get your loved one's life story so that they can use that in order to make activities more meaningful and person directed for your loved one. So they might be asking quite a few questions, and they do a lot of programming. Whenever you're going into a nursing home, my recommendation to you is to take a tour, see if people are engaged and excited, and see an activity calendar. So that is your life enrichment team. Another individual is your dietary manager. So your dietary manager is going to take care of all of the dining concerns and issues and ensure that your loved one is being fed and likes what they're receiving. So whenever they enter into the community, they will have an assessment that they will ask most likely you or your loved one, if they're still able to have the conversation about what do they like to eat, what do they not like to eat. Nursing and the dietary manager will work on the allergies that they might have, so to ensure that we're not serving them anything that they would be allergic to. So your dietary manager is very involved in the nutrition side of the care. Alongside with your dietary manager, you will also have a dietitian, a registered dietitian. Sometimes buildings will have them as an employee that's employed by the company, or most of the time they will be contracted in. The dietitian will ensure that your loved one is not losing weight, and if they are, they're able to make recommendations to the physician and to the nursing team on how to increase calories to help with weight loss, or the opposite. So if they're gaining a lot of weight, how are we going to manage their weight appropriately? And so your dietitian is usually really works really well with your dietary manager. Another department that you will have in most settings is your therapy team. So you have an occupational therapist, which is the profession that I am in. I have my master's degree and I've had it for over 12 years now. And so an occupational therapist usually works on upper body as well as ADL care, so activities of daily living. So making sure that your loved one can go to the bathroom on their own, making sure that their balance is good and they're safe, ensuring that they're continuing to participate in activities that they enjoy, and staying as independent as long as they possibly can in order to live life to its fullest. Your physical therapist usually works lower body, so from the waist down is how we describe. They can also work upper body too, but they work lower body as well, ensuring that they're able to walk using a walker or a wheelchair. They'll make recommendations on what type of walker, what type of wheelchair to get. And so they are very involved in the strength and the endurance and the safety of your individual as they're living in a nursing home. If your loved one has several falls, they'll probably be calling to see if they can do evaluations. The other discipline is a speech therapist. Your speech therapist works on multiple things, not just communication and speech. They work on swallowing, as well as memory and recall, and then communication. So being able to verbally communicate. So the swallowing thing comes up quite a bit with individuals who have dementia, because as the disease progresses, their bodies can actually forget how to swallow. And so your speech therapist can perform swallow studies on them to ensure that they're safely swallowing so they do not get aspiration pneumonia. So those are your three therapy disciplines. Typically over your therapy team is a rehab director. The rehab director or a rehab tech will usually be calling you to say, hey, they're recommending, the clinical team is recommending that your loved one have therapy. And so we want to know if that is okay with you. They will say they have pulled your information on insurances and let you know how much these services may cost you, or if they are covered by Medicare or your supplemental insurances. So that is your rehab director. Sometimes they will treat, other times they are just there to manage the rehab department and ensure that they're picking up patients and providing the quality of care that they need. So those are your therapy team. You also have, after therapy, you could have a restorative program, which is a nursing program, but therapy actually makes the recommendations when they come off of therapy to get onto a restorative nursing program to maintain the level of independence that the therapy team has worked so hard with your loved one to obtain. And so the rehab or the restorative aid is usually a CNA. It's someone in the nursing department, and they will help to maintain. This is usually a free service. There's also, I've seen some maintenance programs that therapy companies will offer that are a small fee. But typically your restorative program is a program that is covered. There's multiple different layers to the restorative program, but knowing that it's available, so whenever they come off of therapy, you can ask the question, are they going to be put on a restorative nursing program? And usually an RN oversees that program. They are also able to make the recommendation, nursing can, to put them on a restorative maintenance program, even if the individual has not had therapy services. So that's another option that they could have. The next department that I would like to talk about is your maintenance department. So your maintenance department is over taking care of the facility. They want to make sure that everything's working right, that the electrical outlets are good. A lot of times your maintenance is over the building structure, so ensuring that the paint is painted, and they sometimes work on wheelchairs to make sure the wheelchairs are safe and any broken equipment that may be around the community. So they'll repair those. So your maintenance department is very important to know that they are there. So if you have any maintenance concerns in the building, it might not be the best to tell nursing, right? Because they're taking care of nursing duties, but to tell the maintenance department or the maintenance director those concerns. You may also have housekeeping and laundry. Sometimes those are together, combined, depending on how large the facility is, or they could be separate. So your laundry service, or the person over the laundry, is the person to talk to if you have lost laundry, which I'm going to tell you is very frequent in long-term care, especially with dementia care, because they wander into other people's rooms and they think the shirt is cute and they put it on, right? And so your mom's going to be wearing someone else's shirt, or your mom's shirt is going to be on someone else. And so that typically happens in memory care. And so it's something to get ready for. Ensure you don't provide them with, every clothes that your mom just absolutely loves, and these are the only things that she will wear. If there's a certain item that your dad or mom will wear and that is all they will wear, ensure that you go get multiple sets of it, so that if it is lost, you're able to replace it. So laundry and then housekeeping ensures that the facility is clean. And that your loved one's room is clean, the beds are swept under, everything is wiped down, the dining room is cleaned after meals. So if there's any concerns with that, I would go to the housekeeping team. There are other departments in the community, such as your business office, who manages all of the bills and ensuring that you get your bills and your statements and that the payment gets processed in time in order to not have any problems or difficulties. There's also admission coordinator, who's probably the first person that you talk to whenever you admitted. At times there are education people that will do education, whether it's staff education or even outreach type education. You have a human resources department that takes care of primarily the staff. It's very rare that you as a family member would have any interaction or contact with them. And then of course you have your front desk, who is the person that you see as soon as you walk into the building. Your first impressions coordinator is what I typically call them, because they are the first impression that you will get whenever you walk into a community. So overall, that is your management team. All right, so you have a very large management team, but it's good to know what each discipline does in order to know who to go to if you have concerns or even compliments. I would highly encourage you to share your compliments. If you see people going above and beyond, let people know, okay? Let the administrator know. I love hearing compliments from my team saying, hey, you know what? Your housekeeper went above and beyond in ensuring that my dad's room was just spotless, and we had a great visit and it smelled wonderful. So thank you. It's great to have compliments as well. You can ask for an organizational chart. The facility can supply you with that. It is going to be a chart that's going to outline who's in charge of who, and a dotted line and direct line, so that if you have an issue in a certain department or with a certain individual, who to go to and who's directly above them. So you can request that if needed. So I hope this video helps you better understand the disciplines in long-term care in order to help you meet your loved one's needs and who to reach out to in case you have any questions or concerns. Please subscribe to this channel. It helps to boost and other people to be able to see and get the resources they need in order to provide better care for their loved ones. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, and the bell will give you alerts whenever new videos are posted. Comment below. Let us know the things that you have questions on. We are here to support you. And please join our dementia support group with Everything Dementia Support Group on Facebook. I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you.